Hello everyone and welcome back to DC Central, and in today's video we're going to be breaking down and reviewing The Flash Season 7 Episode 17, otherwise entitled Heart of the Matter Part 1. And if you have not seen this episode, make sure you go and do so before proceeding with this review, as it will be filled with spoilers. So it's been a little while since I last uploaded. I know I say that at the start of every single video I upload now, so I'm not going to really spend too long on this, just other than I'm sorry for being gone for so long. There is a bit more of a legitimate reason this time, which is that I've been switching between a couple of different jobs, both of which have been quite demanding in terms of hours, etc. So I haven't really had a lot of time to not only make videos, but also to watch the things to make videos on. Like, I've been very behind on the shows. I'm still doing a bit of catching up now. But now that we are heading into the end of the season, I'm kind of hoping that I can do some catch-up in that back half and kind of review the seasons as a whole, so I can give you my full thoughts, because I haven't reviewed the shows anywhere near as much as I wanted to this season. So obviously Batwoman has finished now, which I am caught up on, so I'm planning on doing a Batwoman Season 2 review. Also, I will review all of The Flash Season 7, Supergirl Season 6, Legends of Tomorrow Season 6. I also will do a review of Black Lightning Season 4, given the fact that I have not seen any of that yet. Same with Superman and Lois Season 1, not seen any of that yet. And also Stargirl Season 1, which I'm going to start watching very, very soon. I've also got some plans for content to do within the break as well, before the next season starts, obviously in October, with The Flash Season 8, etc. So anyway, with all that said and all that addressed, let's dive into the review for Episode 17 of Season 7. So this episode of The Flash is the first part of a two-part season finale, which I think is really cool. We've never had that on The Flash before. We've had two-part episodes on The Flash before, but not for the finale. So I think it's pretty cool that we're actually getting one for the finale. We did get one for the mid-season finale this year as well, which was pretty cool. But this one I am way more excited about than the mid-season. So this episode picks up basically immediately where the last one left off, where we have Barry in Star Labs, who is now coming face to face with his kids from the future, which is of course Nora West Allen, aka XS, played by Jessica Parker Kennedy, and a brand new addition to the cast, which is of course Bart Allen, aka Impulse, played by Jordan Fisher. We see them both show up in their speedster suits, and they are there in front of their dad, and it was a very, very cool moment to not only end on, but to start this episode with as well. We do get to see a little sort of scene in the future in 2049, which is the time where Nora and, I nearly called him Wally then, Nora and Bart are from, and we see them actually fighting Godspeed in the future, and we get to see some cool little speedster fight scenes here. We get to see Nora kind of use this lasso kind of made from Speed Force energy, which is really cool. She uses that to trap Godspeed, and then Impulse actually phases through Godspeed in order to take him down. And this is our first introduction really to Jordan Fisher as Impulse, and I think his interactions with Nora are great. Obviously they're brother and sister, which is a change from the comics. Obviously in the comics he is the grandkids, he's the grandson of Barry and Iris, but in this he's just their son, which makes him obviously Nora's brother. So their sibling kind of dynamic I think is really cool and really fun. I like their interactions. They seem like they have a lot of good chemistry on screen to kind of work together in that way. And I just enjoyed Jordan Fisher a lot in general, in not only in this opening scene, but in this episode as a whole. This episode in general is very speedster character focused, so that's kind of how I'm going to focus this review, by talking about characters mostly. So I do want to start by talking about Jordan Fisher as Impulse, as he is kind of the big thing going into this episode, is that we are finally getting Impulse on the show. So how is he? I loved him in this episode. I thought he was fantastic. I'll be honest, I was a little bit worried about this character because I thought he was going to come across as, well, impulsive and annoying. Especially, I don't know what it was about it, it's just that first image we got of him officially, like the poster and stuff, and given what I know of Bart Allen as a character, I was kind of worried that this character was going to be very annoying. But in this first episode at least, he wasn't that at all. He was way cooler than I thought he was going to be. He was funny, he was interesting, you know, they really play up this mystery element with him in this episode about his backstory with Godspeed, which I thought was really good because it added so much more to him. He wasn't just this new speedster who shows up, like he actually has got reasons for being there and reasons to be involved outside of just being Barry and Iris' son, which is already a pretty good reason, but, you know, there's even more to that. And I just really enjoyed his character, his interactions with the other members of the cast, with Grant Gustin, Jessica Parker Kennedy, and Candice Patton. Just a really cool character, and I love the suit as well. The suit looks fantastic in live action. I saw a lot of complaints, you know, when the first set photos came out and we first saw Jordan as Impulse, and a lot of people didn't like the suit and stuff like that. And with the CW suits, you know, you've always got to take it into perspective and just, you know, wait till you see it on the show. Wait until you see it the way, you know, it's meant to be seen, and then sort of form an opinion on it. Because this Impulse suit, I mean, I'll admit, it doesn't look great in the set photos, but that's from a camera that's taken from miles away. In the actual show, the suit looks fantastic. He looks great in it, and he's a great new speedster addition to the show. I believe he is going to be in Season 8 as well, which is very cool, and I'm very much on board to seeing a lot more of Jordan Fisher as Impulse. And Jessica Parker Kennedy returns as Nora West Allen as well. Of course, we haven't seen her since Season 6, or since Season 5, sorry. She did obviously make an appearance an episode or two ago, like a little cameo appearance, which was cool. But this is actually her coming back now to the show for this 2-part finale. And also, again, I think she is going to be in Season 8 as well. And I really liked her in Season 5. I thought she was a really great addition. And once again, she's awesome here. She is a little bit different, which I think was really good because obviously this is technically a different version of Nora. The Nora we had in Season 5 did die because that original timeline obviously got wiped out of existence. This is the new timeline Nora. And she's not majorly different, but she does seem a little bit more kind of mature, and she is the older of the two, so she does kind of play up that role a little bit, which I thought was good. It was nice to kind of spice up the character a little bit, not too much, but just a little bit. You know, she's still the Nora that we love, but she does have some slightly different tendencies, which again, I thought was smart, and I thought it was good. I think Jessica plays it really, really well. And of course, the excess suit is great, is just fantastic as well. And I really enjoyed her performance throughout it. I thought she did a great job with interacting with her parents and also with Bart. I just thought it was really good. I really enjoyed her character once again, and again, I enjoyed the little changes, the little nuances she brought to the role. And we also got another returning speedster in this episode, one we've not seen for quite some time, at least in his speedster form, and that is Mr. Jay Garrick. Jay, oh, I love Jay, and just seeing him back again in his costume, you know, with the full classic suit, the hat, he looked fantastic, and I just love John Wesley Shipp as Jay Garrick. You know, they establish in this episode that when the new Speed Force was created earlier in the season, Jay actually got his speed back, and I was so happy to see that. And also this episode does confirm that Jay Garrick is on Earth Prime. I'm not sure exactly how that works, given the fact that he was the Earth 3 doppelganger of Henry Allen, so I don't know if it's because maybe Henry Allen is now dead, that they were able to kind of, you know, bring in a different version of Henry Allen, I guess, into the universe. And obviously it's also confusing as well because we know that he's showing up on Stargirl next season, which is on Earth 2, like the new Earth 2. All this multiverse stuff is very confusing. So, you know, he was a resident of the old Earth 3. He's now a part of Earth Prime, but he's going to be showing up on the new Earth 2. It's very, very confusing. But Jay Garrick, it was great to see him back. He had great little scenes. He wasn't in it as much as I wanted him to be. I hope he's, you know, I'm assuming he's going to be in the next episode as it's a to be continued sort of thing. But Jay's just a great character, and every time he shows up, he always has great moments. And I like the fact that we kind of learned that he was, you know, he's kind of Uncle Jay, you know, to the kids and stuff. So he's kind of around, and he's a part of their lives in the future, which is nice. And he kind of trains them a little bit as well, particularly Bart. He trains Bart, and you know, he kind of understands Bart. He understands his impulsiveness and teaches him to kind of lean into that, and that it's not always a negative thing. It can actually be a positive thing. And I enjoyed that little dynamic that he, you know, that Jay is kind of like training, you know, young speedsters. Because we almost got that a little bit in Season 4. There was a hint towards Jay Garrick training a young female speedster, and then that kind of never went anywhere. But now we actually have this, which I think is really cool. And again, I just loved seeing Jay again. He's a great addition to this cast. Every time he shows up, he always delivers. Now, one of the more surprising elements of the episode was we actually found out a reason as to why Godspeed goes after Bart, because we do have an action scene towards the beginning of the episode where Barry, Nora, and Bart all go out to fight the army of Godspeeds that's attacking the city, and they all just immediately go after Bart, and Barry's like, well, why did they all go after you? And this is when we learn that essentially Godspeed is Impulse's reverse Flash. He is his greatest enemy. He is his greatest rival. And this was a great reveal because it just shows why this is getting involved. Like, why Bart is so passionate about this, why Bart needs to be here, and why he's just, he's not just this character they brought from the comics to kind of, do for fan service, which would be fine anyway, but, he actually has a legitimate reason to be in this fight. Godspeed is Bart's thorn, and I thought that was really great. And Barry's reaction where he kind of says, I found it interesting that Barry kind of reacted in a very selfish way in this by saying, don't compare him to Thorn, you don't know what he did, you don't know what he put us through, blah blah blah, kind of demeaning Bart and the pain that he suffered from Godspeed, which obviously we hadn't learned by that point. Like, I thought it was kind of harsh and very rash of Barry just to kind of flip out like that, like almost saying like, oh, don't you compare your pain to my pain, I'm so much worse than you. So that was kind of an interesting reaction, but the way this develops, and we eventually learn that the reason why they have such an intense rivalry is because in the future Godspeed kills Jay Garrick. And obviously he is Uncle Jay. He is he trains Bart in a lot of ways, so he is very close to Bart, and apparently Godspeed killed Jay right in front of him. This must have been very traumatic for Bart. Like, obviously he is only young. We learn in this episode Bart is 19, so he's quite young. So that's quite interesting. So he obviously he probably killed Jay maybe when he was like 18, 17 potentially. So that must have been very traumatic for Bart. And in comparison to like Barry, who obviously the reverse Flash killed his mum, Barry never actually witnessed the murder. He kind of just saw the dead body. But it seems like Godspeed actually killed Jay right in the view of Bart so Bart could see it. Kind of like how Zoom killed Henry in Season 2 in front of Barry. I think it's a very similar thing to that, which is interesting because that was also John Wesley Shipp. But yeah, I think this is very surprising, and again, it adds so much more threat to Godspeed, because Godspeed at this point has been a cool villain, but he's kind of been, kind of a faceless character until the last couple of episodes where we've actually seen August Heart. But in this, not only do we actually see August Heart, but they've actually added a threat to him that we know in the future he kills Jay. And that just makes him a lot more dangerous. And speaking of August Heart as Godspeed, he's really cool so far. Not too much to know about him yet. Obviously, this version of August Heart is unaware of himself. He doesn't know his memories. But at the end of the episode, we have this moment where Barry gets locked into the consciousness of August Heart to try and unlock his memories. And we actually see inside of August consciousness, we see Godspeed there, who had been waiting for the Flash for a long time. And he says, I'm surprised I didn't see you sooner, which I think was a cool little funny reference, because I think, obviously, people have been wanting Godspeed as the villain since around Season 3, so it's kind of funny that they're kind of referencing that. At least I think that was a reference, I could be wrong. But it was just fun to kind of see these two, and I'm really, I said this to a couple of people before when watching the last episode. It's really great to finally have like a Speedster villain again, because even though I have really enjoyed the non-Speedster villains in the previous seasons, I know a lot of people have been saying, oh, we should have just always stuck to Speedster villains. I completely disagree. I think the reason why Godspeed is coming across so well is because we had such a break. And now we have a full-fledged Speedster villain along the lines of Reverse Flash and Zoom again. It just feels great. And I don't think that Godspeed would have felt this good as a villain and wouldn't have had this big of an effect had he been done in like Season 3, Season 4, whatever. I think the fact that they waited up until like the back half of Season 7 to actually make Godspeed a primary villain, I think it just works that much more. And then throw in all the other Speedsters we had in this episode, like Excess and Impulse and Jay. It just made it feel like classic The Flash, And it would make me think, it's a shame that that Jessie's not alive anymore, because it would have been really cool to get her into this episode as well. It kind of would have been like that Season 4 episode, Enter Flash Time, where all the Speedsters came back. And also, it'd be awesome if we could get Wally. They do explain that Wally's not in this. Like, they do actually give a line as to why Wally's not there. He's in like a deep meditation or something. But again, we need Wally. Like, we really do. We need Wally. Because we have Godspeed now. We have an army of Godspeeds. And I'm still very interested in this character because not only does he seem incredibly like cool and just dangerous as well, but also the whole Godspeed Civil War thing. Like, you know, why are these Godspeeds fighting each other? And we still need to learn about that, and that's very, very cool and very exciting. So this story in this back half has really picked up for me personally, especially in this episode. And I almost completely forgot to mention that Cisco comes back in this episode. Obviously, Cisco did leave a few episodes ago, and you know, I didn't really speak about that episode, but it was absolutely fantastic. That episode, really perfect, really nailed it. But Cisco coming back, his entrance is phenomenal. But what did you guys think about this episode of The Flash? Make sure to let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. I hope you guys did enjoy it, because it was, in my opinion, the best episode of this season. It was really good, and I'm incredibly excited to see part 2 of this 2-part finale, because they've really nailed this ending for what has been a pretty ropey season, in my opinion. Again, I'll talk all about that in the actual Season 7 review. But thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Subscribe for more, and hope to see you next time.